Hello everyone, welcome back. So, The Travel Companion is a quietly impressive debut that feels both personal and universally relatable, telling a story about friendship growing up and the uncomfortable transition into adulthood. It follows Simon, an aspiring filmmaker who's stuck in a strange in between phase of life, no longer a student, but not quite a fully formed adult either. Simon is introduced at a film festival where his student project is being screened, but even in that moment, he feels like an afterthought. He doesn't get to speak during the Q&A, and that small detail perfectly capture where he is in life. Present but not really moving forward. He talks about future ideas and plan, but nothing concrete ever seems to take shape. Instead, he drifts clinging to the small identity he's already built rather than pushing himself into something new. A big part of Simon's life revolves around his best friend Bruce, who works for an airline and gives him access to free travel through a travel companion perk. These trips give Simon a sense of purpose or at least the illusion of one. He frames them as research for his next film, but even he isn't sure whether he's actually creating something or just avoiding the pressure to commit to anything real. Their friendship feels natural and lived in, built on years of shared history and easy companionship. But beneath that comfort, there's an imbalance. Simon dominates conversation, often talking at Bruce instead of with him, too absorbed in his own anxieties to notice what's happening in Bruce's life. This dynamic starts to shift when Bruce grows closer to Beatrice, a thoughtful and grounded presence who represents forward movement, something Simon quietly fears. As Bruce and Beatrice's relationship develops, Simon's insecurity begins to surface. What initially seemed like concern over losing a friend slowly reveals itself as something more self centered. He's afraid of losing the travel benefit that has been propping up in his identity. That realization adds an uncomfortable but honest layer to his character. He's not a bad person, but he's immature, stuck, and struggling to confront it. The film does an excellent job of showing how early adulthood can feel like a race where everyone else seems to be pulling ahead. Simon watches people around him, Beatrice's other filmmakers, take real steps forward while he keeps circling the same starting point. His attempts to appear successful, including exaggerating progress on his next project, only highlight how lost he really feels. What makes the story work is that it never judges him too harshly. Instead, it presents his flaws with empathy, showing that his behavior comes from panic and fear rather than arrogance. He's someone who doesn't know how to move forward, so he stays where he is comfortable, even if that comfort is slowly slipping away. The film also gives space to its supporting characters, particularly Bruce, who gradually emerges as more than just Simon's sidekick. By showing moments of Bruce's life independent of Simon, the story subtly shifts perspective, reminding us that everyone has their own journey, even if Simon hasn't been paying attention. Visually, the film has warmth and polish that elevate it beyond a typical low budget indie. The cinematography adds a sense of immersion fitting for a story about travel and creative ambition. Small interactions like Simon's conversation with a cab driver add texture and help build a world that feels authentic and lived in. In the end, the travel companion is less about travel itself and more about direction, about figuring out whether you are going when the easy paths disappear. Simon's journey isn't defined by grand success or dramatic transformation, but a quiet realization losing what he thought he needed might be exactly what forces him to grow. It's a thoughtful, character driven film that captures the uncertainty of growing up with honesty and subtle humor, making it easy to see a bit of ourselves in Simon even when he's at his most frustrating. Thank you for watching. Bye.